There is no reason at all that you need to be locked into the lifestyle that you have, the bills that you have, the expectations of your boss that you have until the age of 65 or anything like that. We're here to tell you this series is actually not about how to retire early. It's about how to escape the life that you have built for yourself and to have a much more fulfilling experience.
So the idea is to not retire. Is that basically what you're saying?
Well, yes, actually, in a whole bunch of videos, we're going to explain why the last thing, in our opinion, that you would want to do is retire, and how to think very differently about what it is that you're craving and how to make that real.
Yeah, well, I think over the last several years, we've been doing this for coming on about 10 years now, I guess. You know, we've done webinars and seminars and things like that, in-person workshops and so forth. And I think one of the issues that we've discovered, one of the things that we've discovered is that people probably don't want to retire. A lot of people don't even like the word retire. And what
then stop using that terrible word.
No, but you're right. I mean, don't use it, because I think what happens is that, you know, the planning, if you want to use that word, that a person should be doing is kind of turned down a little bit. It's turned off in some cases because it goes with the word retirement. Well, don't use the word retirement. Don't retire. I mean, I think certainly in my case, I haven't retired. I'm past the so-called age. But I haven't retired. I'm still doing things like this and having a great time. And I think that's the point that we're trying to make in this series, is that do things in, call it your later life if you want, but do things that you want to do.
No, you see, I'm going to say this entirely differently, because you could be 35 years old watching this video. You could be 25 years old watching this video. And my message to you is, you do not have to do what you were told you have to do. You do not have to have the kind of life that you see everybody around you having. What you have to do is believe that you can have a dream of a different life, and that you can actually really and truly make that happen in practical, real terms. Have a real life, have a real set of different values and priorities that are right for you, and embrace the whole experience.
But I think the other thing is that you can choose at what age. You know, age is an issue. I mean, we all understand it. I mean, we're all getting older. We understand that. Okay? But I think you can decide at what age you want to change your lifestyle, change your life. You know, the old notion of, you know, at age 65, you retire. Those days are gone. People don't do that anymore. People are living longer. There's been medical advances, etc. The world has opened up through things like social media, internet, and whatever. There's so many things that people can do, whether it's travel or start a new business or volunteer. I mean, all sorts of different things. But the point is, you can do that. You can decide to change at an age that you want to choose. You decide when you want to make those changes.
Absolutely. There is no reason at all that you need to be locked into the lifestyle that you have, the bills that you have, the expectations of your boss that you have until the age of 65 or anything like that. You can say, thank you, I've enjoyed this experience, and now I'm ready for something better anytime that you want, but you have to be practical about it, and you have to have a plan.
Well, you know, obviously things like finance comes into it. You know, you've got to have the money to be able to sustain the lifestyle, the new lifestyle that you want. So what we're going to be doing in this series is, you know, it's not necessarily a financial series, but we will have, you know, we've got a lot of experience talking about financial issues and money matters and so on and so forth. So we will address that, because you know, you can't sort of just decide at age 42, I'm just going to give up, but you don't have any money, because you're going to live for another 30 or 40 years. What are you going to do? So we're going to help you understand some of the financial planning, looking forward issues, whether it's savings or budgeting or things like that, investing perhaps. We'll give you some ideas on that, because there's no point in changing your lifestyle if you can't afford it.
Unless you're up for a very wild ride, the last thing we are suggesting is that you walk into your office on Monday morning and quit your job. If you haven't won the lottery or inherited a couple $1 million, that's probably not a realistic way to go about this. What we're going to talk about is all of the different kinds of steps you need to take, all of the different things that you need to consider, plan, contingency plan for, as you find a way forward to an entirely new existence that's right for you. You've heard that expression, to thy own self be true. We're going to talk about how do you figure out what that really is for you and your family, life partner, whoever might be making this change with you. And then how do you make that real? You're going to be watching a series of videos beyond the one about believing that you really can do this. We're going to be talking about how do you figure out what are your values? How do you prioritize the things that you really want to achieve in life? There's going to be an entirely different video about how to be thinking differently about your health now, and how critical thinking differently about your health now is to the future of this brand new life that you're embarking on. We're going to have a video on how do you establish a work-life balance that's really right for you and it sustains this entirely new life that you've envisaged for yourself. Because as we said at the beginning, we don't recommend retiring. We really believe that, at least on some level, that you need to keep working, and not just for money. And we're going to get to all of that. Bill talked about the fact that we're going to have lots to say about financial planning and figuring out the middle ground between this wild dream you have and the practical realities of making it real. We're going to talk about the difference between a can of beans and a bag of beans. We're going to talk about why thinking differently about both of these options when you're feeding yourself now is critical to how you think about everything to do with your life and moving forward financially. And Bill, you're just going to have to wait till we get to that video to hear my explanation about the can of beans.
I can't wait. I
know you can't. You see the look on his face. He had no idea I was going to do that. We're also going to have a separate video that's all about how do you fill the day in your new life, because as much as there's going to be a work component, there's going to be an awful lot more free time. And we're going to talk about what to do when you're not absolutely delighted with what's happening in all of this free time that you've never had before.
But I also think that when we talk about future life, we tend to think about what am I going to do for the rest of my life, and I mean, obviously that's a reasonably important question or point. But the reality is that you can change your lifestyle every 4 or 5 years, every 2 years, every 10 years, whatever. You're not fixed. You're not in a fixed environment. You can change, and I think the whole purpose of the series is to talk about long-term planning, if you like it that way, but long-term thinking. And one of the things that we talk about all the time, and we've talked about this for years, is let's rethink this. Let's rethink this. What am I going to do for the rest of my life? And whether it's in 5-year chunks or 10-year chunks, or you do something and it's going to last for the rest of your life, it doesn't really matter. But you need to rethink this, because when you get into the so-called retirement years, you're going to find, and millions of people have found, and we see this in all of our social media work and the research that we've done, people get into those later years and go, my goodness me, is this it? Have I done it? What else can I do?
Sad.
It's very sad. And it's sad simply because we haven't thought it through. We haven't, began to rethink this. We need to rethink this. We need to have better ideas, more exciting ideas, perhaps, Yeah, we understand there's going to be a financial base. We understand that, right? So we're going to help you with that as well. But rethinking the rest of your life is pretty much the sort of the idea behind what we're trying to get done here.
And we're also going to talk about the biggest secret regarding all of this. The biggest problem with traditional retirement was the idea that you had to work really hard until you were 65, and then this golden life was going to open up for you. And people got there, and it was nothing like they had been told it would be. And even if it was initially, it changed. And people got really angry, really depressed, really frustrated about that. The same thing can possibly happen in any sort of a life journey, because a life journey is an ever-evolving process. And we're going to talk about what to do in your new life when things change, when you meet a crossroad.
So there you go, new series. We're really looking forward to this because we've got a lot of information and ideas and suggestions that we've gathered over the last several years. We want to share them with you. And, hopefully we can sort of do this together. We call it the third journey. And it's a journey. It moves every day, and you do different things perhaps every day or every week, who knows. But, it's a journey, and hopefully we can help you on that journey and come along for the ride with us.
So don't forget to keep watching as we explain why a bag of beans might be the solution to everything.